Shocking family secrets. What my sister did with 500K will haunt you forever. The night Lily unearthed the truth about her sister, the air crackled like a live wire. As raindrops pounded the roof in a furious downpour, she clutched a crumpled letter that felt heavier than hope itself. It dropped with a thud onto the kitchen table, scattering tiny flecks of glossy paper, the evidence of betrayal, lies, and a sinister secret worth $500,000. The tremor in her hands couldn't be hidden. 500,000, and her sister Jess had kept it hidden like a ticking time bomb. Lily's mind raced like a roller coaster. Memories of childhood flashed before her eyes. Jess, the reckless dreamer, the wild spirit who could charm anyone. But what kind of dreams required so much money? It left a bitter taste in Lily's mouth. How could her sister have come into such wealth? Felt impossible, sinister even. Questions churned inside her like a hurricane. Had Jess sold her soul? As she read on, the words twisted her stomach into knots. Buried between the glossy images of luxury vacations and lavish parties was a name she had never expected to see. It was a name entwined in darkness, a shadow from her family's past. A chill crept down her spine. What had Jess done? Who had she crossed? Suddenly, a crash outside shattered the suffocating silence. Lily's heart raced. She darted to the window, peering into the storm. Was that a figure lurking in the shadows? Panic clawed at her throat. The storm raged, but the real tempest brewed closer to home. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important heads up. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube unsubscribed them without warning. Take a quick second to check the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I'd hate for you to miss any of the exclusive content coming soon. And while you're there, smash that like button, it really helps me out with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, which city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's connect. Lily's breath caught as she turned back to the table, the letter glaring at her like a guilty witness. Each word burned in her memory. Jess had crafted a web too tangled to untangle easily. Would her sister return home tonight? Or was she lost forever in a world filled with deception? The shadows grew long as the clock ticked unrelentingly, each chime echoing a warning in the night. A sudden thought twisted in Lily's gut. If Jess had deceived everyone, who could she truly trust? She felt a scorching mix of anger and fear. The air was thick with secrets, each moment heavier than the last. What other lies had their family hidden away? As thunder clapped overhead, she steeled herself for what she might uncover next. A dark revelation was building, and it was coming for her. Lily's heart pounded as she glanced back at the window. The figure in the shadows was gone, but an overwhelming unease washed over her. The storm outside mirrored the chaos inside her mind. The letter lay open, a sordid reminder of secrets that twisted like vines around her brain, squeezing tighter with every thought. She paced the floor, feeling trapped between the ticking clock and the unspoken words her sister had buried so deep. Where was Jess? Had she plunged into some abyss, hidden under the weight of her lies? Lily clenched her fists, determination surging as adrenaline coursed through her veins. She had to find her sister. The rain beat harder, each droplet a reminder of the tempest that threatened to drown her family's fragile facade. She grabbed her phone, hesitating. Should she even call Jess? The last time they spoke, Lily could sense something was off, a cold distance creeping into her sister's voice. What if she didn't even pick up? But desperation clawed at her. Without thinking, she hit dial. The phone rang, echoing through the empty kitchen, each tone amplifying her dread. When the voicemail picked up, her throat tightened. The cheerful voice from the other end felt like a betrayal. Her sister's laughter was now a haunting echo, layered with guilt and unspoken truths. Lily hung up, frustration bubbling within her. She grabbed her jacket, slipping into the storm like a soldier into battle. The rain lashed against her skin as she stepped outside, the cold air sharp against her face. Determination led her down the streets, thoughts swirling like the clouds above. What had Jess done to come into such wealth? And more importantly, what danger lingered around their family? As she navigated the slick pavement, the wind howled, ushering in more than just rain. It felt like a warning, like something shifted in the air. Focusing on the task ahead, She began to retrace Jess's steps in her mind. The parties, the luxury, the hidden name in the letter. It gnawed at her. Approaching Jess's last known hangout, a dimly lit bar that had always been their secret hideaway, she pushed through the door. The scent of whiskey and stale beer wrapped around her. She scanned the room, heart pounding. Familiar faces greeted her with blank stares. They all felt like pawns in a game she didn't understand. "Have you seen Jess?" she asked a bartender who simply shook his head. The disappointment weighed heavily as she turned to scan the crowd. A chill ran through her as she noticed a figure sitting alone in the back corner. A man leaned against the wall, his face shadowed but familiar. "Jake!" she called, fear creeping into her voice. Jake, an old friend of Jess's. The guy who always seemed to have too many answers and too few morals. He looked up, surprise flaring in his eyes. "Lily, what are you doing here? Where's Jess?" she demanded, stepping closer, the tension thick between them. He hesitated, mouth twitching as if fighting with the truth. That split second felt like an eternity, stretching and twisting in the musty air of the bar. "I don't know, but I can help you find her," he finally murmured. "Help or hurt?" she shot back. But before Jake could respond, a loud crash echoed from outside, followed by frantic shouting. Lily's heart raced. Was the storm claiming more than just her sister? "Stay here," she ordered, but the urgency in her gut propelled her toward the door. As she stepped outside, bracing against the downpour, she realized there were darker secrets lurking beyond just her sister. She could sense it, a shadow creeping closer, not just to Jess but to her. What was happening? And what was Jake really hiding? The storm rumbled, but Lily wasn't turning back. The truth was out there, just waiting to be uncovered or to swallow her whole. The air outside was thick with tension, mixed with the sharp scent of rain-soaked asphalt. Lily's boots splashed through puddles, each step propelling her further into the unknown. The chaos of the bar behind her faded, replaced by the frantic shouts cutting through the storm's roar. Her instincts screamed at her to run, but the uncertainty of what awaited made her hesitate. A crowd was gathering, silhouetted figures against the blinding sheets of rain. The shadowy shapes were filled with urgency, their voices a mix of fear and confusion. She approached, heart racing. "What happened?" she yelled at a woman near the front of the throng. The woman's face twisted in alarm, her eyes wide with shock. "Some guy crashed a car right into the bar," she told Lily, gesturing wildly. "They think someone's trapped inside." A jolt of realization hit Lily like a punch to the gut. Jess had always been reckless, always living on the edge. Had she been at the bar? Plunged into chaos like this? Her thoughts spiraled into a pit of dread. "Where's Jess?" she gasped, the echo of her question swallowed by the wind. The woman shook her head, her expression pained. "I don't know. She left with someone earlier." "A guy, tall, dark hair?" Jake's voice surfaced in her mind. The weight of his hesitation wrapped around her, tightening like a noose. What had he not told her? A sinking feeling took root in her stomach, the truth lurking just out of reach. Suddenly, the sound of sirens pierced the air, bright lights flashing in the distance. Fire trucks and ambulances were racing toward the scene. Panic bubbled inside her as she scanned for a familiar face in the crowd. If Jess was in trouble, she needed to act fast. She pushed through the mass of bodies, adrenaline surging through her veins. Each shout, every siren felt like a countdown, the seconds slipping away. Then she caught sight of his dark form standing just back from the chaos. "Jake. Lily!" he shouted, managing to break through the throng as she darted toward him. "Wait, what did you mean you could help?" she demanded, anger and fear colliding in her chest. "I know more than I let on," he admitted, eyes darting toward the wreckage. "But it's not what you think. Jess, she got involved in something dangerous. Stop dancing around it," she snapped, her voice cracking. "Where is she? What's going on?" Jake took a step closer, leaning in as if protecting his words from the storm. "People are looking for her, Lily. Big people. I thought I could help, but now things are spiraling. You need to trust me, but you also need to stay away from this." Her mind raced. What kind of trouble had Jess pulled her into? Trusting Jake felt like playing with fire, but Jess was still missing before she could respond. A loud crack echoed through the night, followed by a blinding flash. A bolt of lightning struck close, illuminating the shocked faces of the crowd. For a brief moment, Lily saw the fear in Jake's eyes. What was that? Someone shouted, panic rippling through the crowd. Lily's heart sank as realization hit her. It wasn't just the storm that was tearing through her life. It was something far worse. She needed to find Jess. And she needed answers from Jake before it was too late. The sirens grew louder as they approached, the chaos snapping at her heels. With a deep breath, she turned to Jake, his silhouette only a shadow in the glare of the lights. Tell me what you know. Now. But before he could respond, another crash echoed from the direction of the bar, drowning out their voices. The storm swelled, and within the chaos, Lily felt a chilling certainty. What if finding Jess meant unleashing a nightmare she couldn't control? And what had Jake done to be so terrified? The weight of his silence hung heavily as the night deepened, ready to spill secrets that could change everything. The chaos surged forward, a whirlwind that swept Lily and Jake into its heart. He grabbed her wrist, urgency pulsing through his grip. Please, we need to get away from here, he urged, glancing toward the bar as if it were a predator waiting to strike. No, she snapped, pulling free. I'm not leaving without Jess. The determination in her voice surprised even her, drowning out the cacophony of sirens and shouts. Lily, think. Jake's jaw tightened. What if stop making excuses? You said she was in danger and now you want me to run? Her breath came in sharp bursts as the weight of his silence pressed down harder. Before Jake could respond, another crash erupted from the building, sending a wave of panic through the crowd. People screamed, scattering like leaves caught in a storm. Lily's heart raced, the beats echoing in her ears. She pushed past spectators, their faces morphing from worry to terror. She reached the edge of the wreckage, and the sight before her froze her in place. The car was embedded deep into the bar, windows shattered, twisted metal and glass glimmering ominously beneath the flickering lights. Jess, she cried, voice hoarse as she scanned the wreckage. Every second felt like an eternity. Jake appeared beside her, his eyes wide with fear. Lily, wait, help me find her. But Jake's hesitation cut through her momentum. He opened his mouth, then shut it tight, wrestling with words that teetered on the edge of revelation. Damn it, Jake. What do you know? She shouted, feeling panic clawing at her throat. Everything. It's worse than you think. He bit his lip, his gaze flickering to the crowd and back to Lily. Jess was working with someone. Someone dangerous. I didn't want you to know, because his voice faltered, eyes darkening. I didn't want you involved. Then you should have told me. The words erupted from her, raw and unfiltered. You've been keeping secrets? That's exactly how we ended up here. Jake's face twisted, frustration mixing with guilt. I thought I could protect you both, he muttered. But she was in over her head. I had no idea it would come to this. As she grappled with his words, a sudden crash echoed from inside the bar, causing the crowd to surge back, panic rising like waves. Lily's instincts kicked in. She couldn't just stand there, paralyzed by fear. Help me! She yelled at Jake, fear igniting her movements. We can't let anyone get hurt. Jess could be inside. Without waiting for his reply, she sprinted toward the wreck, feeling the rain drench her completely. Each step forward was a mix of terror and determination. The noise from the crowd faded. All that mattered was reaching Jess. Pain lanced through her as she stepped over glass, shards cutting into the soles of her boots. The wreckage loomed before her. The rain intensified, but she pressed on, heart pounding in rhythm with the flashes of lightning above. Would she find Jess inside? Suddenly, a shadow darted from behind the vehicle, a bulky man, face obscured by the hood of a jacket. He paused, locking eyes with her. An ominous flicker of recognition crossed his features before he turned and bolted. Wait! She yelled, but he was off, disappearing into the storm. Lily hesitated, torn between chasing the figure and searching the wreckage for Jess. The ground trembled beneath her, a quaking reminder of how fragile their lives had become. Lily! Jake called, rushing behind her. Don't go alone. It's too dangerous. But danger was already coiling around her like a serpent. If Jake was right, the man could be connected to Jess's disappearance. The truth she'd been seeking was just out of reach. Stay back if you want, but I can't wait anymore. She shouted over her shoulder. She bolted toward the bar, adrenaline igniting her every move. The closer she got, the more frantic her thoughts raced. What happened to Jess? Did that man know something? As she pushed through the wreckage, her worst fears took shape in her mind. The night was turning darker, but she would uncover the truth. The darkness was closing in. She could feel it. But just as her fingers brushed against the crumpled metal frame of the bar, she heard a faint moan from inside. Jess? The answer lay in the shadows. Would she find her sister or open doors to a nightmare she could never escape? With that thought echoing in her mind, she prepared herself for whatever lay ahead. Lily's heart raced, pounding against her chest like a caged animal desperate to break free. The moan echoed again, and a shiver ran down her spine. It was Jess, she could feel it in her bones. But was she hurt? Was she alone? The uncertainty clawed at her as she steadied her breath and summoned a fierce determination. Jess, I'm coming, she called out, her voice barely breaking through the thundering rain and chaos surrounding her. She dug deeper into the wreckage, pulling aside twisted metal and pieces of wood, each movement fueled by desperation. Please be okay. The words slipped from her lips in a whisper, raw with fear. She wriggled into the darkness of the ruined bar, the air thick with smoke and something metallic. Instinctively, she shielded her face from broken glass that crunched beneath her feet. The darkness swallowed her whole, but the quiet moan was a light pulling her closer. Each step deeper felt heavier. Shadows pressed in like a haunting weight. A sudden crash nearby sent her heart skittering, but she pressed on. Adrenaline drowned out the noise, her focus laser-sharp. She couldn't lose Jess. Jess? Lily called again, her voice trembling as she approached a narrow opening where the bar once stood proud. The dim shapes of overturned tables and scattered chairs appeared, victims of the chaos. Lily! A voice broke through the haze, weak yet familiar. Relief washed over her, igniting her pace. Jess, I'm right here, where are you? She rushed toward the sound, shoving a broken bar stool out of the way. Help, I'm trapped. Tears threaded through Jess's voice, and panic shot through Lily. Hold on. She clawed her way through the wreckage, finally locating her sister, her heart plummeting at the sight. Jess lay pinned under a heavy beam, her face pale and streaked with blood. The rush of horror threatened to swallow Lily whole. Stay still. I'll get you out. Lily, it's too heavy. I can't, Jess gasped, her strength faltering. Don't you dare give up. The words blurted out like a prayer. She dug her nails into the metal, pulling with every ounce of strength she had. The weight was relentless, making her muscles scream as she pushed against it. I got you. Just as it began to budge, she heard footsteps approaching, heavy and deliberate, cutting through the fear. A glint of something sharp flashed in the dim light. Lily's breath hitched. Lily! Get out of here! Jess shouted, her voice rising in urgency. No, I won't leave you. But the ruthless pounding of footsteps grew louder, and dread pooled in her stomach. I'm serious. It's not safe. Please. Lily paused, torn between her instincts to protect Jess and the looming threat creeping ever closer. Lily! The fear in Jess's voice sliced through her. That S when she saw him, the same man who had darted away earlier. His hood soaked with rain, revealing a hardened expression and eyes that held a chilling resolve. He stepped into the flickering light, a blade glinting in his hand. You shouldn't have come here. Fear tangled with fury as she locked gazes with him. What do you want? She shouted, but deep down, a feeling of dread settled like ice in her veins. He advanced toward her, cold determination etched into his features. It's time you learned the truth, little girl. With every step he took, the weight of the night pressed heavier upon her shoulders. Was she about to unravel secrets that would shatter everything she thought she knew? Jess's voice broke through the tension, trembling yet fierce. Lily, listen to me. But as she stood there, frozen in place, the truth loomed ever closer, threatening to pull her into a darkness she couldn't escape. What horrifying revelation awaited her? The air crackled with tension. There was no turning back. As the man took another step forward, Lily realized this confrontation would change everything. The secrets would spill. Would she have the strength to face them, or would they break her? And with that thought echoing in her mind, she clung to hope, preparing for an encounter that would leave her forever altered. Lily felt the heat rising in her chest, flaring against the icy grip of fear. She couldn't let this stranger hurt Jess. Get away from us! She shouted, her voice a wild thing battling against the roaring thunder outside. The man barely flinched, a chilling smile creeping across his face, revealing a jagged scar that ran across his cheek. You have no idea what this is about, do you? Your sister has been hiding things. A lot of things. Stop. Don't say another word. Jess croaked from beneath the beam, her eyes wide with terror. Lily's heart clenched. Secrets? What secrets? She had to stall him. Whatever Jess has done, I'll take the blame. Just let her go. A cold laugh escaped his lips, echoing in the silence of the collapsing bar. It doesn't matter. You're both in this now. The truth hurts, and it always finds a way to get out. He stepped closer, the blade shining like a beacon of impending doom. With a quick glance around, desperation surged through Lily. The wreckage offered no real weapon. She was unarmed and outmatched. But she wouldn't give in. Jess needed her. Why? She managed to say, the word falling like a pebble into a dark pit. Why are you doing this? His eyes narrowed, calculating. Think of it as retribution. No one leaves the game once they've entered it. Not even family. With that he lunged forward, the knife slicing the air in a deadly arc. In a heartbeat, Lily dropped low, rolling to the side as the blade missed her by inches, embedding itself into the wooden floor. Lily! Jess screamed, horror lacing her voice. Lily pushed herself back to her feet, adrenaline pouring through her veins like fire. She had to act fast. Stay calm, Jess. I'm right here. She could hear the sound of Jess's strained breathing, a reminder of how precarious their situation was. The man yanked his knife free, eyes flashing with fury. You think you can protect her? He charged at Lily again, but this time she was ready. She grabbed a broken hunk of wood sharp and jagged and raised it to meet him. Don't come another step closer. For a moment they were locked in a tense standoff, each calculating the other's next move. Lily felt the weight of the world on her shoulders, every second ticking like a countdown to disaster. Suddenly Jess shouted, Lily, the beam. If you can just I know. Lily yelled back, panic clawing at her throat. Just then the man charged, swinging the blade dangerously close. Without thinking, Lily sidestepped and drove the makeshift weapon into his side, catching him off guard. He grunted, stumbling back, grim surprise flickering through his eyes. Get away from her! She cried, heart pounding as she turned back to Jess. The beam above her sister quaked, but Jess wasn't free yet. Lily, hurry! I can't hold on much longer. With each second counting down, Lily fought the urge to scream. She rushed back to Jess, heart racing, throwing her weight against the beam. It felt impossibly heavy, but she couldn't allow fear to consume her. You can do this! Jess cried, her voice a mixture of hope and dread as she strained against her prison. Just then, the man regained his footing. You think you can win? You're only delaying the inevitable. He shouted, his voice low and menacing, knuckles white around the handle of his knife. What do you want from us? Lily shot back, desperate. He smirked as he stepped toward them again. I want you to understand. The truth isn't just a weapon. It's a bomb waiting to go off. Sweat beaded on Lily's brow as she gritted her teeth, focused solely on freeing Jess. But doubt crept in. What was the truth he mentioned? Was Jess involved in something terrible? Lily! Now! Jess shouted again, her voice sharper, snapping Lily from her thoughts. With a surge of energy she pushed against the beam again, grunting, feeling it budge just a little. But then the man lunged forward again, intent on stopping her. The rain hammered on the roof, deafening, blending with her heartbeat as she strained with all her might. Would she be able to save Jess while facing this evil? As the beam shifted, Jessie cried, almost there. Just then everything shuddered. Lily felt it, a violent quake that threatened to swallow them all. The darkness closed in again, shadows swallowing hope. Would they be crushed together or escape only to face a darker truth? And in that suspended moment, with danger closing relentlessly, Lily faced a choice: keep fighting or confront the terrifying unknown ahead. Would she have the courage to face whatever came next? The sound of splintering wood echoed through the bar, mingling with the torrential downpour outside. Lily's heart raced as the beam above Jess shifted dangerously. I swear I won't let you hurt her. She shouted at the man, clutching the jagged piece of wood tighter, her pulse thundering in her ears. The man's demeanor shifted. The playful smirk morphed into something more sinister. So brave yet so foolish. You don't know who you're dealing with. He lunged again, the knife gleaming under the flickering lights like a star destined to crash. Lily ducked just in time, the blade slicing through the air above her. She pivoted, adrenaline fueling her resolve as she pushed against the beam. The wood creaked ominously. "Jess, move!" she yelled, knowing Jess's escape depended on her strength. "Keep pushing. I see light. I'm almost out," Jess cried, her voice strained and desperate. With every ounce of energy she could muster, Lily heaved against the beam again. She felt the weight shifting. It was working, but the man wasn't finished. Regaining his balance, he positioned himself for another attack. "Stop!" he barked, rage thickening his voice. "You're meddling in matters far beyond your understanding. Maybe you can't comprehend that family comes first." Lily shot back, anger surging within her. Just as she felt hope flickering, the beam teetered, threatening to collapse back down. "No!" Jess wailed, panic bubbling in her voice. The sound pierced Lily's heart, propelling her forward with renewed determination. "Get free! I'll hold him back!" Lily screamed, her eyes locking onto the man's, defiance sparking between them. He charged once more, a predator circling his prey. Without thinking, Lily sidestepped, striking out with her makeshift weapon again. This time she aimed for his arm, hoping to disarm him. The wood pierced just below his elbow, and he howled, staggering backward, blood oozing from the wound. "Stay away from my sister," she cried, pushing forward. But even with his injury, he was relentless, eyes burning with fury. "Delaying the inevitable, remember?" He spat, wiping blood from his face, his expression twisted into a dark glee. "You're only making it worse for yourselves." "Enough!" Lily shouted, her chest heaving. She realized then that fear was slowly twisting into something else, fury. Perhaps understanding his motives would be the key. "What's the game, huh? What does Jess have that you need?" The man stepped closer, knife still gripped tightly. "What's hidden is never lost, girl. The truth rots in the dark," he growled, eyes darting to Jess, who was still trapped but inching closer to freedom. "And you two can't escape it. She's dug a grave and you will both lie in it." Just as he lunged again, Jess managed a desperate grunt, pushing with all her might. In a frantic surge, the beam finally tilted enough to free her leg, and Jess scrambled out. Her eyes wide and wild met Lily's. "Run! Get out!" Jess yelled, scrambling to her feet. Lily's instincts screamed at her to flee, but fear gripped her again. They were still trapped, and that madman was unrelenting. "I want to leave you," she shouted back with a renewed sense of urgency. Jess grabbed Lily's arm. "Then we fight together." But before they could strategize their next move, the bar shook again. A powerful tremor rattled the structure. The walls groaned, peeling paint raining down like confetti. "Let us go," Jess urged frantically. Lily felt the overwhelming tension in the air. The man was readying for one last assault. "Now, before it all comes down." As they turned to run, the man lunged, knife gleaming. In that split second, everything seemed to collapse around them. "What are you hiding, Jess?" whispered the dark voice of fate, as the ceiling above began to creak ominously. The truth rushed in just as the rumble grew louder. Could they escape the falling debris? Or would the truth finally come crashing down on them both? Lily and Jess sprinted toward the rear exit, their hearts pounding in unison with the chaotic symphony of falling debris. The man's footsteps thundered behind them, a chilling reminder that they couldn't afford to falter. Panic surged through Lily as she glanced back. The knife-wielding lunatic closed the gap, rage twisting his features into a grotesque mask. "Don't stop!" Jess shouted, darting ahead. The door loomed like a beacon of hope, but the air was thick with uncertainty. Would they make it? The tremors were relentless now. Would splintered and plaster rain down? Lily could feel the weight of their impending doom pressing against her chest. "Hold on," she gasped, but just as they reached the door, it slammed shut, one final barrier. "No!" Jess screamed, slamming her palm against the door. The sound reverberated through the bar, but any cry for help was swallowed by the howling wind outside. "The windows!" Lily yelled, urgency fueling her voice. They turned, eyes scanning for an escape. The glass shimmered, but it was far from a safe exit. A shadow loomed behind them. The man was almost upon them. "Find something," Lily cried, searching for anything that might help. A shattered bottle lay on the floor. With shaking hands she picked it up, ready to defend them. "You wanna play creep? Let us see who bleeds first." "Lily, focus." Jess cried, her voice a mix of fear and determination. We can't let him corner us. As the man lunged, Jess ducked and swung her arm at him, temporarily stunning him long enough for Lily to lift the bottle high. Back off, she shouted, adrenaline coursing through her veins. They were standing on the edge, poised for either flight or fight. The man backed away, laughter echoing like thunder in the space filled with smoke and the scent of desperation. You think you can stop what's coming? He taunted, blood seeping from his wounds, eyes glistening with wild menace. Whatever you want, we don't have it. Lily yelled, bravado edging out the fear. Why are you doing this? Why? He repeated, his voice dripping with malice. Because the truth is like a virus, it spreads, infects, and ultimately destroys. Enough of the riddles. Jess shouted, frustration bursting forth. Just say what you mean, you monster. He stepped closer, proximity amplifying the tension swirling in the air. Your sister. She holds something precious, something that will unravel everything. She brought this on herself. What did you say? Lily's heart sank further. Jess had to know what he meant. What truth? Secrets are such cruel burdens, and they're about to crush you both. He lunged again, but this time Jess was ready. She swiftly moved, grabbing a chair and swung it hard. The hit connected, sending him crashing against the wall. Now, Jess exclaimed, heart racing. They had a moment. Door. We need to get out. Breaking free from the momentary shock, they made for the back as the walls shook again. Plaster fell like confetti, but they had no time to dwell. They pushed at the door, their palms slick with sweat. It barely budged. Push harder. Jess grunted, leaning her weight against it, and Lily joined her, shoving with all her might. Then, with an earth-shattering crash, part of the ceiling caved in beside them. Dust and debris choked the air as the man's laughter echoed in their minds, taunting them. Keep going, Jess urged, barely audible over the chaos. Was there light ahead? Or simply the setting sun behind a wall of darkness? Suddenly, the door creaked open a fraction, a sliver of opportunity shining through. But as they glanced back, the man reared up in the shadows, fury blending with chaos. You think you can escape? His voice slithered through the wreckage like a dark whisper. Heart racing, Lily grasped Jess's arm, pulling her towards freedom as the wall behind them crumbled further. Run! But just as they pushed through the door, the world outside shifted. The rain was heavier, the night darker, and the unsettling feeling in the pit of their stomachs told them this was far from over. What awaited them in the stormy night? And what could be worse than the man they left behind? As they emerged into the darkness, a new dread wrapped around them like fog. Jess, what did he mean by secrets? Lily demanded, heart still pounding. But Jess just stared into the murky night, a look of horror spreading across her features. Lily, there's something you don't know about Mom, she whispered, voice trembling. What? Lily felt the ground shift beneath her feet as a chill swept through the air. Jess took a deep breath, her eyes wide. It's about the money and who really stole it. A crackle of lightning split the sky as their world tilted on its axis. Unraveling truths waited just beyond the storm, and they were caught in the eye. What awaited them next? The answers were tangled in the darkness ahead. The rain pounded down like a relentless hammer, soaking them instantly. Lily felt the coldness seep through her clothes, but it was nothing compared to the chilling realization of Jess's words. Secrets? Money? What did it all mean? Jess, you can't just drop a bomb like that. Lily shouted over the howling wind, desperation clawing at her throat. They took off running down the deserted street, their footsteps splashing through puddles, the thunder booming above like a warning. I had to tell you, Jess shouted back, her voice barely cutting through the tempest. We need to know why he's after us. Why the truth is so dangerous. Lily's heart raced as she fought to keep up with Jess, her mind whirling. But Mom, she never mentioned anything about exactly. Jess interrupted, her eyes wild with fear. Rain trickled down her face, but the fury and determination in them were unmistakable. She's hiding something. And he knows what it is. They rounded a corner, seeking refuge in the alley. The walls were covered in graffiti, vivid colors lost under the relentless downpour. Panting, Jess pressed her back against the cool, damp bricks, her gaze darting to the entrance. Do you think he's coming? Lily whispered, anxiety flooding her as they ducked under an awning. I don't know. Jess's voice trailed off, fear creeping back into her expression. The darkness loomed around them, heavy with uncertainty. Lightning illuminated the night sky, and Jess's face blanched. What if it really is about the money? What if he wants to stop? Lily shot back, panic spilling over. You're getting ahead of yourself. What if it's not what we think? Like what, Lily? That the night is just about rain and secrets? We're in way over our heads. Jess snapped, a tremor in her voice before Lily could respond. A sound pierced through the storm, a soft click, like the crunch of a shoe on gravel. They froze, instinctively pressing closer against the wall as figures emerged from the shadows. Their hearts raced. At this point they couldn't tell friend from foe. The two figures stepped into the flickering light of a nearby street lamp. Familiar faces. Familiar clothes. It was Mark and Holly, parents of her childhood friends. Girls. Mark's voice broke through the downpour, confusion written all over his face. What in the hell are you doing out here? Get down. Jess hissed, pulling Lily back into the shadows. Their instincts screamed danger. Wait. What are you hiding from? Holly called, concern etched on her features. Don't you understand? We're in trouble. Jess yelled, adrenaline pushing her to explain. There's a man after us, and we don't know what he wants. Mark's brows knitted together. What man? We didn't see anyone else. Lily's heartbeat thundered again, and she raised her gaze to Jess just in time to see the same realization crash over her. He could have followed us. Suddenly the air shifted, filled with a palpable tension. The distant sound of shuffling feet, a chilling reminder that they weren't alone. You need to hide, Mark urged, glancing back into the deepening shadows. But before they could figure out their next move, a shriek rang out. It was guttural, raw, profane. Jess jumped, her breath hitching in her throat. Go. Get inside, shouted Mark, panic flaring in his voice as he pushed them toward the door of a nearby warehouse. Inside, the darkness swallowed them whole. The sudden silence closed in, pressing against them, a thick blanket of foreboding. Now what? Jess whispered, breathless and wide-eyed, gripping Lily's arm so tightly it stung. I don't know, Lily admitted, fear clawing at her insides. But as the echoes of their heartbeats filled the air, another sound crept in, a low, sinister chuckle that seemed to vibrate through the very walls. Did you really think you could get away? Lily felt her stomach drop as they turned to see the man again, lurking just outside the door, unfazed by the storm. The haunting glow of his knife reflected against the dim light, and dread washed over them. Run! Holly screamed, but it was too late. The door slammed, locking them in, and the darkness closed in around them, thick and suffocating. Jess, what's next? Lily asked, the urgency dripping from her voice. Jess's expression shifted, disbelief and realization colliding on her features. Maybe we confront him. We can't just keep running. What? Are you insane? Lily shot back, anxiety bubbling over. But deep down, she recognized the flicker of bravery coursing through Jess. Lightning flashed outside, illuminating a path of uncertainty. The answer was looming just ahead. Waiting like a predator, was it time to face the truth? Before they could decide, the man's shadow loomed larger, and his chilling laughter echoed once again, bouncing off the walls as fear tightened its grip. What awaited them in the darkened warehouse? Would they face their tormentor, or succumb to the dark secrets surfacing within? The tension escalated, and a choice hovered just beyond reach. As the darkness enveloped them, Lily's heart raced, and a surge of confidence washed over her. Jess was right. Hiding would only prolong their torment. They had to confront the man who haunted their shadows, but the realization didn't come without fear and tremors. Okay, Lily whispered, glancing quickly at Jess. Together we're stronger. Jess nodded, determination hardening her features. The low hum of the man's laughter continued taunting them, hauntingly echoing throughout the warehouse. Show yourself, Jess yelled, her voice rippling with a bravery she didn't fully feel. Not so sure of yourself now, are you? The man responded, stepping closer. Shadows danced around him like restless spirits. The truth doesn't just wander away, sweethearts. It always catches up. Lily took a deep breath and stepped forward, gripping the jagged piece of wood tightly. What do you want from us? He smiled, showcasing the scar that twisted his lip, a reminder of his darkness. Oh, you're already in over your heads. I only want what's precious, what she's hidden so well. Stop talking riddles. Jess shouted, her voice rising. What is so important about our family? With a flick of his eyes, he leaned against a nearby beam, an unnerving calm on his face. Your mother, for all her secrets, made a pact. A deal that ties you both to me. The money is just the surface. The truth beneath is much darker, much more dangerous. The air grew heavy with his words. Each second felt longer than the last, the tension palpable. What had their mother done? The questions felt like daggers lodged in Lily's heart. Why are you doing this? Lily pressed, unable to quell the trembling in her voice. What do you have against us? Against you? Nothing at all. But I have a score to settle with your dearest mother. You see, you can't run from secrets when they're tied to blood. Lightning flared outside, illuminating the man for just a moment, his eyes burning with a manic intensity. Enough. Jess shot back, her frustration bubbling up. If you're after her, then you'll have to go through us first. With a sudden movement, the man lunged, knife glinting like a serpent ready to strike. But Lily was ready. She sidestepped deftly, shouting, Jess, now! Jess understood immediately. Seizing an old crate nearby, she swung it, knocking the man off balance and forcing him back. Go. Get to the door. Her own voice trembled with adrenaline. They raced toward the exit together, the din of a fierce storm roaring to life outside. Just as they reached the doorway, the man regained his footing. Rage wrapped around him like a storm cloud. You can't escape the truth. He bellowed, lunging again. Watch out! Lily shouted just as the knife whistled past her ear. But they dove sideways, hearts pounding as they scrambled out of the building into the blustery rain. The streets were slick, the storm a chaotic backdrop to their desperate escape. A gasping breath filled Lily's lungs as they plunged forward, the neon lights of the city gleaming like distant stars through sheets of water. Where do we go? Jess yelled, fear lacing her voice, but Lily could only focus on the road ahead. We head home. We can't keep running. They dashed through the alleyways, desperate echoes of their footsteps haunting behind them, filling the night air with urgency. Lily, what if he's right? What if Mom's tied to all this? Jess's voice cracked, the reality weighing heavily upon them. Then we'll confront her. Together we can't keep secrets buried. Lily shouted back, summoning steely resolve as they burst onto their street. Their childhood home stood dark, lifeless. The rain thickened, but each guttural breath they took reinvigorated their spirits. Without hesitation they raced up the porch steps. Lily's hand trembled as she knocked on the door. Mom, it's us. Let us in. A moment of silence stretched before the door creaked open, revealing her mother, eyes wide with shock. What happened? You both look, Mom, we need to talk. Now, Jess cried, fear and urgency melding into one. But before her mother could respond, the world shifted. The man's figure loomed just outside the gate. He grinned, a predator toying with his prey. Looks like the family reunion is going to get interesting. With adrenaline surging, Lily stepped in front of Jess. We're not afraid of you. We know the truth. As the wind howled, their mother's eyes darted between them and the man who had threatened their lives. What truth? The deals you made, what you hid from us. Jess shouted, tears mingling with the rain on her cheeks. The man laughed into the storm, but Lily stood firm, fighting against the tremors within her. We're not just going to let you take her from us. In that decisive moment, their mother's expression shifted, understanding flooding her eyes. You two may not understand everything yet, but together we can face it. Lightning cracked once more, illuminating their silhouettes. They were ready. Forces worked against them, but they wouldn't back down. With hearts entwined in shared determination, they stood in the face of darkness, prepared to either unveil the secrets or be consumed by them. And as the storm raged on, a vow hung in the air: together, they would battle whatever demons lay ahead, and together they would reclaim their truth. This was it. The battle for their family, their lives. No more secrets. The storm was just the beginning. Now they needed your support. If you want to hear more gripping tales, subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this electrifying conclusion. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see how this story unfolds. Remember, only true fans understand the importance of showing support for the channel through your actions.